Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Sam, and I'll be doing the free video for May 7th, 2021. So, we saw a really good reversal of all the signals that we talked about last Friday this week. There was really some potential problems that were developing in the markets, specifically in the tech markets, all the way up until about the middle of Thursday of this week. And then we got a massive reversal signal right in the middle of the day, and it really not only reversed, well, it pretty much reversed everything. And now it's actually set up going into next week and frankly into the middle and end of the month as a really solid setup across the markets for almost everything. So I just finished making the premium video for the folks in the gold room. Those videos are usually an hour. This one ended up being an hour and a half. So it's basically a movie that I'm going to give them. But I'm going to share a couple of notes that I shared with those guys with you. And I'm also going to share my watch list with you. In the video, we're going to talk about a few names that are on the watch list. I'm going to give you, I'll give you three names that I'm looking at. And then I'll share my watch list with you. But the main thing that I want to focus on, or at least inform you of going into next week, is the markets now have a daily squeeze with full structure. You have the international markets that are back into structure when they had lost structure last week, so that's really bullish. You have the dollar attempting to break down on a weekly time frame, which should last probably through the summer, which is very bullish. You have the VIX, which was a very prominent signal that was developing that has also reversed lower and has kind of what we call a reverse slingshot, where they pulled it up and then they slam it down. That's very bullish. And then a lot of the sectors that we looked at were also very bullishly positioned. So very drastic change in the signals. And here's a couple of trades or ideas that we have going on in the room. Now, most of these are going to be actual trades that we're doing in the room. So the first one is going to be Lennar. One of the biggest sectors that's in play right now is the home builders, and it's pretty difficult to find a home builder that specifically still has a perfect setup with a daily squeeze. But Henry, who's one of our traders in the room, probably our best trader in the room, actually has a trade on this one right now. So not much to cover here. You know, if you're familiar with the simpler trading kind of rule set, if you will, holding the 21, do you have stacked moving averages? Yes. Do you have a solid squeeze? Yes. Or is your indicators completely positioned correctly? This one should be above the middle. The green line should be above the red down here, both above the middle. Check, check, check. Easy chart. Looks like you could take a picture of this and use it as a quintessential example of a perfect squeeze going into next week. And I think there's a lot of opportunity here in Lennar. And Henry has already had the room in it for probably, I don't know how long exactly, but at least a week. I think there's a lot more left here in Lennar. So one that I have going in the room is going to be Yeti. Now, Yeti has earnings coming up next week. I don't plan on holding through earnings, although I would not blame someone if they chose to. I just don't think it's worth gambling on earnings. But I do want to hold it into the report. And the reason I want to hold it into the report, which is on the 13th, so close to the end of the week, it should give me a little bit of a run, is one, I'm kind of looking for a run into the report, right? There's, stocks can run a week or so before the report in a bullish way as people anticipate the numbers. But then again, also it's holding structure very well. You see this low, it made a higher low. Today it actually made a new all-time high. It closed above the previous high, so not only did it print a new all-time high, but it actually closed above the previous high, which is very impressive and strong. And then over here on the 195, full alignment. Perfect alignment. I tell you guys, look for the central line here to hold. Check. You want to squeeze with an upward bias? Check. Green line over red down here, both above the middle? Check. Ideal chart. So again, earnings coming up on the 13th. I'm going to bail before the report the day of. I'm going to sell this no matter where it is. But that's the trade, right? I'm not going into it with the intention of holding it through the report. If you choose to do that, I don't blame you. They do typically back test well for earnings, but the trade is a run into earnings trade on Yeti into next week. Sell it before the report. And then the last one that I'll show you here is going to be Deer. So Deer is playing very well off of the idea around the inflation around commodities. Now, Deer, actually, the more I look at it, the more attractive it becomes because of the run into earnings dynamic that we see here as well. So Deer has earnings closer to the end of the month, but it has an overwhelmingly bullish chart. There's a low, there's a low, there's a higher low, there's a high, and there's a higher high. Very bullish structure here. In doing so, you actually have a daily squeeze, and you see how it went flat and then gives you the little tail up. That's exactly what you want. Now, the only thing else that makes it better is higher than average volume, which you see right there. It's above average, which is good. Also, this indicator, we're just going to do the same thing, right? It needs to be above the middle, check. Green line over the red, both above the middle, gets a check. So when you get checks across the board, that's a buy. You get the added bonus of having the run into earnings in a name that people are expecting big numbers from. Again, I probably would not hold through the report here. That's not the trade. The trade is to trade it into the report, get that excitement, get that pop, and then sell it to somebody else before the report. That's usually the way we like to trade it. So 3 names to keep on your list, guys. Just so you can see exactly how we closed out the video from the gold room, in case you are interested in what we do over there. This is what we do. Now there's a mountain of notes above this that are not totally necessary for you here on YouTube, but this is where we ended up. I won't read that. You feel free to pause the video and read that if you wish. And then you see our watch list down there. Just a couple of names, some of which we've covered in this session, that I think are really poised to continue into next week based on the totality of the signals that we're seeing, not just in the charts that we pointed out, but in every market that connects. And then we look for the individual stocks that look the best. And I think we brought you 3 of those today. So before you click off the video, guys, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. It really does help us reach a wider audience. So if you like what we're doing, make sure that you leave us a like, click the thumbs up, click the thumbs down. It's all good. Just let us know you were here. As always, do leave us a comment, and then make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any of our content going forward. If you'd like to check us out in more detail and see exactly what we're doing and how we're making money in the gold room, come and check us out at simplertrading.com. Try out a trial to the options gold room, and you'll get a chance to see not only the premium videos, but then the actual live trade alerts that we get into, so that you can join us and be part of the community. It's a great place to be, and we hope to see you there. Thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency. It's one of the things that won me